Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Sarah, please tell us a little bit about yourself. How old are you? What grade are you at? What are your
Sure.
interests?
My name is Sarah. I am 13 years old. I am currently in grade 8, and I love anything related to music, reading, writing, or hanging out with my friends.
Sarah, tell us a little bit about why you decided to join School of Humanity.
I started learning already in an alternative school, and then I noticed how my friends were always struggling with testing, memorization, and then I realized that I don't want that to be my schooling. I want to be able to enjoy learning, not just forget whatever I've memorized right after a test. So, my mom found School of Humanity, and we decided to apply, and I'm really enjoying it now.
And one of the ways that our learning at our school is different is that we learn through
Yeah.
projects. Could you share a little bit about some of your favorite projects that you've worked on and what you learned in that process?
Okay, so one of my favorite projects was the Moon and Tides e-flip book. We were learning in Voyager's Journey all about the moon and tides to help us understand more about the solar system and Voyager's journey overall. We learned how the tides are controlled by the moon and how we have high tide and low tide and how the phases of the moon are caused. And we also learned about some of the other planets' moons, like Jupiter's Io.
Every term, you choose between two different challenges,
Yes.
interdisciplinary challenges. I'm so curious about what your favorite challenges have been so far.
I think my favorite challenge will be the one I'm doing right now, which is called Cycles of Power. As you can tell, it is about the rise and fall of power. We analyze ancient kingdoms like ancient Rome, the Mongol Empire, and the Mughal Empire. We analyze their strategies, how they built their empire, and then what eventually caused them to collapse. Why I really love this challenge so much is that history repeats itself. How are we going to learn? How are we going to not make the same mistakes if we don't know what the mistakes are, if we don't learn about the mistakes? So, yeah, this is probably why it's my favorite challenge.
It's really wise words and very relevant to civilizations today as well to look back to, that's those cycles that keep repeating themselves. Could you share a bit more about the project that you're doing this week in your Cycles of Power challenge?
Sure. This week we're doing the story, we're learning about colonies and colonizers, and we had to choose one and then do lots of research about it and put it into a Canva project. My friend and I, we decided to do England and Ireland, or we basically took how England colonized Ireland specifically for religion and also because they viewed Ireland as a cheap source of land and resources. For example, Ireland had a lot of timber, which England didn't have at the time. So timber was mass exported out of Ireland and then it would be brought to England.
That sounds like a great case study to look at. What lessons do you think are important to draw for today's world?
I believe that some lessons to draw from this project would probably be like, how would life be different if the colonizers didn't choose to colonize this colony? Because what would have they done differently? Would have they gotten better? Would have they gotten worse? And I think like we can use that to think about whether we should do something first or not. We should like give it a bit more thought.
Thinking about the long term
Yes.
impacts of our actions.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I'm sure it sounds like you've been learning so much. Could you teach us something? Teach us something that you've learned
Sure.
recently.
One thing I learned was Punnett squares in Discovery. One thing you should know is that I really love Discovery. And Punnett squares are a very simple tool that is used in genetics to find out what the traits of an offspring will be. For example, if you have one British Shorthair and one Great British Shorthair, the brown gene for fur is dominant, while the one for gray fur is recessive. So when you write that all down in a Punnett square, you'll see that it'll either be full brown or some of the kittens will have gray fur. So one thing that Punnett squares has taught me is that you will never get an all gray litter from a brown gray pairing. I was trying to teach my dad this, but he kept calling them panettone squares. So yeah.
Amazing. Do you sometimes then think about those concepts from science in your own life and thinking
Yeah.
about like your siblings and DNA?
Yeah, I specifically use brown and gray British Shorthairs because recently we got a brown British Shorthair kitten and we already have an old gray British Shorthair.
Oh, it's a real life application.
Yeah.
A lot of people always ask us, like, how do learners who are enrolled in an online school manage being in an online school against socialization and staying active? Could you share a bit more about how you tackle that as a family?
Course. So I'm very lucky to have School of Humanity in a very convenient time. Early in the morning, I like to put sometimes extracurriculars there, so then my afternoons are cleared up. And in between classes where we get 30 minutes of break, sometimes my friends and I will have study sessions where we work on the weekly project and give feedback to each other. Yeah.
Nice. And how do you make time to socialize with peers?
Well, on the weekends, I hang out with my friends, and also we try to go to the beach and the desert often. I have lots of extracurricular activities outside of classes, so I can socialize with my friends. I do orchestra on Sundays, and which is my passion. Music is my passion. I also do choir on Fridays, and I learn languages throughout the week.
Are there specific instruments that you're learning to play?
Yeah, right now I'm seriously learning like violin and piano, but sometimes I play a bit of ukulele and guitar.
Well, I hope I get to see you play one day. I loved hearing updates from your cohort about how you're meeting up in person. Could you share a bit more?
One of the parents created this Excel sheet with a lot of activities planned for the rest of the year, and every month we meet up twice at least, and then we do lots of different activities. For our first ever meetup, we went to a cafe, and then we were just playing in the backyard of the cafe. Tomorrow when we're meeting up, and we're just gonna hang out, have a picnic. We're having a potluck actually, and I'm bringing banana bread.
It sounds like lots of fun. How are you staying physically active as an online learner?
I have activities again.
Yeah.
Every Saturday I have table tennis, on Sunday I have a sports class, and on Friday I have Pilates.
Very cool. Sarah, could you share what are you most proud of so far in your journey?
I think most proud of my journey would be presenting my project during the Global Showcase. We had 1 week for Invention Week, and my team managed to come up with a really interesting board game. And then my friend and I, we decided to present it for the Global Showcase. And I was just really proud to see how all the work we put in gets shown to more people.
That sounds amazing. And I remember your presentation. It was brilliant. For anyone that's not aware, could you share what the Invention Week is and how it works?
Sure. By the end of the term, we always get some sort of week. So we, for example, got the Invention Week, where we had to invent a game in the specific period of time. And then we learned different techniques like researching skills, how to build the prototypes, and also have how to work in a team, how to solve conflicts that might happen in a team, and brainstorming.
Thank you for giving us that overview. Sarah, thank you for your time today. It was
Thank
lovely
you.
learning more about your background, and I love that you're learning so many things and having such an enriching school experience.
Thank you for having me.